Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and as part of the 3.23 Affliction League that I'm super excited about, we're getting access to 3 new Ascendancies, and these are actually going to be sub-Ascendancies, so you can add them on to just tack them on to any class or Ascendancy that you're already playing. This is super cool because it just adds more power. We're getting power creep into the game through this mechanic, as well as the new Transfigured Gems and whatnot, but this video is be focused on the 3 new Ascendancy classes. Big thing for me is I wanted to take a couple of days, let some information flesh out, see what we can come up with as a community. And before I talk about these, because I had an initial reaction to these I thought was maybe not great, and then I've let 2 days think about it, and I still haven't changed from my initial reaction. So I'm going to go over these 3, kind of give them like a rating, talk about when one would be better than the other. But the biggest thing for me that you're probably going to notice is I think one of these is like way stronger than the other 2. And I want to talk about that real quick. So if you want to see more 3.23 content, I'm going to be doing a ton of that leading up to a league start and talking about build starters and guides like that. So click the like, subscribe, comment down below what you think of these new Ascendancies. And check out my Twitch stream. We're going to be jumping on live doing some league start practice runs probably for the rest of the week and talk about Transfigured Gems as we get them. Other than that, let's jump into this. I want to talk about the one that I think is the best first. I think if we start from that base mindset, we can talk about the other 2 better. Because the other 2 seem strong, but they don't seem strong to me when you compare it to the third one, which is Wildwood Primalist. Wildwood Primalist definitely seems like the strongest one. I'm going to pull up the chart for it first. It has a super easy chart to follow. Basically, you're going to, I'd say almost all the time, you're going to follow this path and take all the charm sockets. So what charm sockets do is they give you can socket in new jewels that can go into these, there'll be charms that give you access to other Ascendancies. So this is strong because you can access Ascendancies or parts of Ascendancies outside of your own Ascendancy, which is crazy, right? For example, this one is a Juggernaut Champion like hybrid. You get a line from each of them that are found in their Ascendancies: Fortify, Move Speed, below base value. This one you get the 2% move speed from Raider. You get the 7% chance to take less area damage from Saboteur. This one, kind of insane. This is like when you start thinking about like what could actually be on these. You get the Explode chance from Occultist, and then Concentrate Ground Effect from Inquisitor. And then you look at the tree, you can have 3 of these. So this is pretty insane. It's like a build your own Ascendancy. You basically are getting access to things that you should never have access to on your normal Ascendancy. So it's really cool. This is probably one of the biggest scope, like power creeps we're going to see in the game like I've ever seen. This is like better than Forbidden Flesh, Forbidden Flame, because you can go outside of your own class even. So like Elementalists aren't stuck to going Occultist, Necromancer, Forbidden Flesh, Forbidden Flames on. So that's pretty crazy. One thing I'll notice out there was a post on Reddit today. Someone pointed out that these look like they're going to be like attribute dependent. So for example, all the examples we had: Juggernaut Champion, these are 2 strength classes; Raider, Saboteur, these are 2 dex classes; and then Occultist, Inquisitor, these are 2 int classes. So they seem to be based some sort of attribute level of depending what you're going to roll on these. So a little niche, but like you have 3 of them. They're only going to stop you from having a strength, a dex, an int one here, 3 ints, 2 dex, 1 int, whatever you want to do. Seems like you can do. You're going to get access to 3 of them. Other than that, the 2 passives on these are going to be the backpack. This is just a nice quality of life. You get 5% increased character size, which whatever. We also equip the Wildwood Rucksack, which has 20 rucksack. Basically, you just get a second like little backpack add on to your inventory with 20 inventory slots. You can put kind of a decent amount of stuff in there. Think about that. That is like a bow, a full size like spine bow is 4 times 2, so like 8 slots. So you can put 2 bows and some other stuff. Like you can put a decent amount of stuff in here. The other one, this one seems super niche. You're probably not going to use it very often, but your War Cries shake extra items from corpses and War Cries open chest. Again, this seems like quality of life. If you're doing like a super juice like Magic Finding or a Magic Finding group, maybe doing War Cries, you get extra items, seems good. The problem with this one is that you would lose your 3rd charm socket. So I don't know if, like, as far as raw power of your character, you'd probably never take this one. Overall, this is by far, I think, the strongest Ascendancy of the 3 new ones that we can do for sub Ascendancies. This is a 5 out of 5. Honestly, it's probably 6 out of 5. This is just like insane power creep. The only thing that would be dependent is how tough it is to get like good one of these. I imagine these are going to be tradable first of all in softcore like trade leagues or hardcore trade league, and then also they're probably going to be very expensive. The good ones at least. Anytime we're able to add the like Occultist Explode chance to a different Ascendancy, that always becomes like a super expensive part of the game. All right, so that gives us our baseline. For me, I think about that as a baseline. That is like the one that I think is going to be most popular, and I think that's the strongest. So now we compare it to the other 2 new Ascendancies. First one we'll talk about is Warlock of the Mists. So I'm just gonna pull up the tree first because I wrote like a lot of notes on this and there's kind of a lot going on. So I want to talk about each one of these notes individually. First one is Blood Hunt, which grants the level 20 Ravenous skill. So what Ravenous does is it allows you to consume a corpse. Your character becomes stronger against that particular type of enemy, and then they do less damage, something like that. For example, they have some examples listed here. This one's like a humanoid. You'll do more damage to humanoids. Humanoids will do less damage to you. The cool one about this is that you can buy these corpses. So like normally you wouldn't have access to like Eldritch corpses. This is like Maven, Eater, Exarch, or Eldritch. You can buy Eldritch. Apparently they're going to be like kind of rare, kind of expensive, but you can do this and you'll be stronger against Maven bosses, things like that. So this is cool because if you were like a super bosser, this probably be interesting. If you're doing a pure bossing strategy, this is probably what you would want to take. Just being better and more efficient against bosses. Other than that, I don't see why you'd ever use these especially over the charms that you're offering classes. You're getting very specific. You can do humanoids for one map, and then the next map you need to do something else. It just doesn't seem very efficient for me. I'd just rather have more power all the time instead of having to worry about like I'm stronger against beasts for a map, or I'm stronger at beasts until I consume another corpse, and then I'm stronger against humanoids. It seems like I'm stopping and going, and just not really what I'm interested in. That's the first one. Niche I'd say this is pretty niche for bossers. The second like wheel I want to talk about is this 3 set of power nodes. Basically turns you into using life instead of mana. Skills cost life. Skills reserve life. Removes all your mana, which is a huge downside. And 50% increased life reservation of skills. The problem here is you're not actually gaining anything from your reservation because you can't reserve mana anymore. I don't think this really helps. It's not super good. There's going to be a few niche builds that use this, but other than that, I don't see this being super powerful. You'd have to plan out your build ahead of time to use this effectively. Which makes the other two a problem, because you're probably not ever going to use these if you aren't using this one. Remove an energy shield, now you're down to just life on your build. I know like there's going to be some like paint, like 3D paint copy pasta. I haven't seen a PoB that uses these effectively. These aren't in PoB yet, of course, but I haven't even seen anything like talk about these or get close to using these effectively. So it's not great. There are spells you cast yourself gain added physical damage equals 75% of life cost. Again, you're already at the downside if you're using this. I don't see the point of going this. There's gonna be a few extremely niche builds that use these, but I don't think they're gonna be popular at all. Which is a problem because this is 3 of the nodes that are just like, I think, unusable for most builds. Alright, next up we have Soul Splitting. Grants level 20 Summon Dark Effigy. We don't know what Dark Effigy does. This wasn't announced, it wasn't in the patch notes. We'll have to wait and find out. Closest thing I've been able to find was there was a Diadre's Effigy ability. Apparently Diadre can class like, or there's an ability that can class like socketed curses in an aura. Doesn't seem like this is what it can be. You can't like socket list anything, but I imagine some sort of cursing aura is what we're looking for with this. I'm not sure. We'll need to get the patch notes, but that's the closest thing I've been able to find. Next up is the curse wheel. So you will choose, when you choose this node, you get to choose one of these 3 curses. I'm not going to talk about the curses specifically, because the problem with all these curses is I don't think any of them are better than the curses we already have access to. They do some cool stuff. There might be some weird interactions, but in general, I don't think these are better than any curses. And since there is a curse limit, I don't see why we use any of these over the curses we currently have. In the situation that you would use one of these, though, this node probably becomes much more powerful, and you could use these 2 together. Overall, for me, Warlock, and this is like a 2 out of 5, potentially 3 out of 5. Dark Effigy is good. The Ravenous skill gives you access to some cool specters as well, because you can actually turn these minions into specters. So if there's a cool specter build, or some of these are really cool, you get all these abilities from your specters. That's interesting, but this is like nowhere near as good as Wildwood Primalist, and I think that's pretty obvious. Alright, last one to talk about is a Warden of the Magi. The Warden of the Magi, the biggest thing is that it uses tinctures. Tinctures replace your flask slot and give you added like bonuses to weapons. You apply like, it's basically like if you ever played World of Warcraft, it's like applying oils to your weapon. But I've been thinking about it. But they have to be in your flask slot and be applied to your weapon. So the thing about tinctures is like, this class is good if tinctures are very good. And you look at a couple of these examples and they say these are really good. Right? And hits inflict withered, hit steal friendly charges, hit stun on full life. This one basically gives you like mini Headhunter. Honestly, it's more like mini Inspired Learning. It has a chance to grant one of the modifiers, but for 60 seconds. Culling Strike. There's an example of one that always says all damage poisons. That seems very good. I'll talk about the problem with this. So this is Tinctures. You're not playing this. We'll go with the other wheels, but you're not playing this Ascendancy without using Tinctures. So we'll talk about Tinctures first because they're super important. So that the first one just gives you the ability to use Tinctures. Super. That's easy to understand. Next one, Tinctures apply 75 increase per empty flask slot. If Tinctures are really strong, this is really strong. They have to be stronger than flasks, like significantly stronger than flasks, though. And I think that's going to be tough to find. So the other one's a bit more interesting. Basically, adjacent flasks to your tincture, so you can put your tincture. The way I've been thinking about it is you put your tincture in the middle, and then the 2 flasks to the side of it will gain 3 charges to hit an enemy. Basically, that's going to say, I would say this makes them always up while you're mapping. Flasks adjacent to your tincture have 30% increased effect. So that's pretty insane. The other thing I've been thinking about is that you can actually set this up so you have tincture in the middle on your flask slot, 2 flasks on the outside, and then 2 empty slots. So in theory, you could use 2 flasks, a tincture, and then get 150% increased effect on your 1 tincture, and I think that's an interesting setup as well. Again, this is all dependent on how strong tinctures are. From what I've seen, tinctures aren't going to be stronger than charms, though. The other sad thing about tinctures is that they have to be applied to your weapon, and then most of them are weapon effects, so this means they're not, like, spellcasters are, like, instantly out from using this, so a spellcaster would never go Warden of the Magi. And that's something to keep in mind. Next node I want to talk about is the Detect Evil node. Your hits against marked enemies cannot be blocked or suppressed. Rare and unique enemies within 120 meters have minimap icons. Think Metamorph when you think of the bottom line. You could see like where the enemies are going to be. Not super useful. Wouldn't go out of the way to use it. Hits against marked enemies can be blocked or suppressed. Again, this is nice. I don't see the point though. So, probably never using these 2 nodes. Next up, we're going to talk about Bark Skin. Bark Skin we got a little bit of a preview on. Basically, you're going to get your characters to be covered in bark and give you an armor increase, and then as you get hit, it chips away and turns into evasion. So basically, I kind of think this is a hybrid between determination and grace. And then we get some little extras here, chance to avoid dominating with per bark. We don't know like the levels of bark, how much bark you start off with, if it scales up, whatever, like anything like that. So we don't actually know how good these are going to be. If you have a lot of bark, and you can get like 100% chance to avoid non-damaging elements, that's pretty cool, right? But I'm going to guess that's probably not the way this is going to work. That being said, I don't see the point wherever you want to use Bark Skin instead of just like determination and or grace instead. Seems like you want to commit to either armor or evasion, and then champion or some other classes want to commit to both. You'd rather always have your armor and your evasion up instead of switching between the 2. It doesn't super make sense to me, so I don't see where this is going to be super playable. Lastly, we have Oath of the Magi. This one's actually kind of interesting. This seems like it's going to be really good for leveling. You can get like move speed, like lab runners will be interested in that. You can get your LA resistances capped off pretty like super easily just by not socking any gems in your helmet. Downside of this, you would never like use this on the endgame build. I don't know any endgame builds that intentionally don't use sockets. So, and you're not getting like damage. Problem is none of these give you damage. You're getting resistances, you're getting move speed, you're getting defenses doubled, max life. You're not getting damage. You're not making your build stronger. You're making it defensively potentially stronger, but not particularly strong damage-wise. So this is a pretty niche class. Honestly, if tinctures are good, this is like a 3 out of 5. Tinctures are bad, or like tinctures are not even close to how good charms are from the Warlock, from the Wildwood Primalist nodes. This is a 1 out of 5. Like the rest of this is not usable. Tinctures have to be good. It's already down to only weapon classes can use it. Spellcasters will never use this. I'm a little worried about War on the Magi. But again, if tinctures are good, this will be playable. So overall, my biggest problem with these new Ascendant classes is how good Wildwood Primalist is. Wildwood Primalist is very good. The other 2 are like, okay. They added power to the game, but they don't add the level of power that Wildwood Primalist does. I think we're going to end up in the spot, especially for League Start. Like 90% plus of builds will go Wildwood Primalist. It's just too good to start off with. Too much. Like, you get quality of life, you get things that you can literally just put anything into these and they're probably going to be good. So, that's where we're at with Wildwood Primalist. I'll definitely be going this on every build I start off with, unless I do some weird Spectre build. Probably not going to start off like that, though. So, that's my thought on 3 new Ascendancy classes. If you stuck it out this long and heard me ramble about these and kind of break them down, please click the like button down below, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know if there's something I'm missing on the other 2 classes, Warlock and the Mists and Warden the Magi. I think they have some neat uses, and if there's one that I'm missing that's really important, please let me know. Other than that, thanks for watching. Check out the Twitch link down below, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.